Meeting to order for the City of Hudson for Monday, November 17th. First item on the agenda is discussion possible action on minutes of November 10th. Comments, questions, changes?
Move for approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is claims in the amount of $1,351,629.19. That's the accounts payable for a total of $1,419,011.19. Any questions or comments for our finance?
Move for approval.
I'll second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is operator's license. Application for operator's license are on file in the clerk's office. Contingent upon payment of any outstanding debt owed to the city, we have one for Jolene Cross from November 18th, 2014 to June 30th, 2016.
Move for approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is discussion and possible action on 2015 room tax budget, any other allocation from room tax funds. As you can see, what Neil put together is, and Neil and Devin also provided us some information on requests that in the 2015 estimated room tax dollars will be $190,000. This year it could exceed 200.
200.
We're being a little conservative in this. And if we were to leave the Chamber of Commerce, the City Chamber of Commerce and Tourism Bureau at the same amount, what do you estimate that to be this year? 144,000?
This year, based upon if we assume fourth quarter revenues slightly just flat from last year, it'll be a total of about 144,000.
If we leave that number at the same amount, or as the highest amount it can be at 144, but if the dollars are less than, and if let's assume we collect less money, we'd keep it at the 70%.
70%
Whichever
would
is
be
lower.
70% would be 133.
Right.
Based on
That's it.
190.
Right.
On 190, but if we have, right now, this year it's gonna be 144. So I would say it's either 70% or 144,000, whichever is less. Does that make sense? Because we don't know what it's gonna be next year.
Yeah, so you're saying right now they're guaranteed 133 from, because we're at 190.
Right, but it looks like it could be 200.
Well, I'd like to talk, I think we've talked about this many times in the past. I'm not in favor whatsoever, really, freezing or changing the 70%. I think the Chamber of Commerce, and it's evident by the rooms and the heads and the beds of our hotels, they're doing their job. They're getting out there, they're marketing Hudson, and they're really bringing in the visitors that are patronizing our businesses. I think we need to continue to push and have that fund there for them. I don't want to take anything away from them.
We're not taking anything away. We're talking
No,
about
but
a percentage.
you talked about freezing it at one
Right.
point as well.
Right.
And I'm not in favor of that whatsoever.
So is there any limit to how much you could be willing to give them? Is there, if we get $300,000?
I think it's a year-by-year basis in my mind.
Okay,
And we can revisit it year by year. That's our fiduciary responsibility. Their fiduciary responsibility is to give us budgets. We go through them, we look at them, and we make sure it's being spent the right way.
so I guess what I was trying to do was find some money to finish our parking project that we need to finish downtown, which would be our parking meters, or, Randy, I think you guys have been looking at some parking stations for downtown?
Yep, and I can fill you in that, I think, without speaking, because we meet on Wednesday, is it? I think we've come in pretty close to decision on what we're planning on doing as far as meters and parking stations.
You've already found the money and you've got the money to
No,
do
we
it?
haven't got that far yet.
Okay. Well, I thought that would
But
be.
we
what-
saved the best for last.
Okay. Anyway, well, that was one of the things, and then one of the things that we've got to look at here, folks, or I want to look at, is this is not we always have way more requests than we have money. I don't know if, and again, without slighting anyone or trying to slight anyone, we have to look at, is this our responsibility? I'm excluding the Chamber of Commerce now, okay? Because that's our marketing of our tourism dollars. But all the other things that we do in town here, is it a city responsibility to be funding these projects? And I think that's a question that we have to ask ourselves, like Randy said, every year. And there isn't one organization that comes to us that isn't worthy of getting the money, in my opinion. They're all good. So, is that a city responsibility to fund nonprofits? I think that's a fairly question to answer.
What is your definition of a nonprofit?
A definition of a nonprofit is a nonprofit organization.
I mean, what's your, for example, which one of these you talking?
All of them,
But if we don't do it,
correct.
no one's gonna do them.
Well, I don't know if that's necessarily true or not.
That's the premise we've always operated on.
Well,
Well, that's
the
why
Phipps
you gotta
Center just
fundraise.
raised, the Phipps Center, for example, just raised $2 million. Right?
Yeah.
So somebody did it. The Hot Air Affair, Miss Hudson, VFW, senior citizens, the cemetery. The cemetery, if we don't fund it, it'll be ours.
Yeah, I kind of feel the cemetery is something we have to stick with on here.
Yeah, well, but I mean,
Otherwise, it's
again,
gonna cost us
we
way
talk
more.
about concerts in the park. I think it's one of the best things we do in town. And that's a city project. I mean, the city pays for that. And Deb would sure like to have some more money to increase that on Thursday nights. It's a great program.
It benefits everyone because it's free.
You all have received all the requests. I think the senior citizens came in with a request of $500 a month additional to the $2,500. We've got the Hot Air Affair asked for an increase.
Miss Hudson asked.
Miss Hudson
I think Miss
asked,
Hudson's was a one-time thing,
Yes.
correct, Randy?
Yep.
To make some repairs to the float, and
Right.
then there was the holiday boutique.
right.
Those are the four that,
What one was the holiday
it
boutique?
was in your packet, Randy. It should be on there.
It's
They
funds
asked
for
for-
advertising for and it's a great program. I mean, there's hundreds of people that show up for that, if not 1,000.
It's on the online, Randy. Here.
There's certain things on here that I feel we do and the whole community can enjoy at zero expense, like the fireworks, concerts in the park. You know, obviously a lot of this stuff goes to decorating our downtown for different occasions. These are all things that benefit the community. And you can come as a family or by yourself and not have to worry about how you're gonna afford to do it. So I do think, but those are all city expenses that I've named off. The cemetery, like I've said, if we don't take care of it, we're gonna be paying a lot more at the end.
Have we received anything from them this year at all, with their budget or anything?
No, not to my knowledge.
No, we haven't requested it, but.
No, but I think we did a couple years ago, and I
Yeah.
think we probably should look at that again. At least I think
Well,
we
I thought that
should.
was something Rich requested, that we see budgets for these, what we support, to see where they're fundraising and if,
I mean, we're just talking tonight. I don't
Yeah.
think we have to make final decisions tonight, but
That certainly could be, done.
I think it's, if we're funding 80% of the people's budget, that's a big deal.
Right.
If we're funding less than 1% of the deal, how important is it to them? I mean, it's probably important, but, I mean, maybe the 8,000 we gave the cemetery helped them out a lot last year, and they're not in the same, I guess I don't know.
Well, if you recall, they have some concerns about paying that assessment as
Special
well.
assessment
so-
on Wisconsin Street.
Right. Well, they were at
New one coming
4,000
down, or the
before
one
last
we
year,
just
weren't
did?
they?
The one, well, it won't be going until next year, because we
Right, it
haven't,
wouldn't go on until it's not finalized yet.
You're talking about the new, that hasn't been done yet?
no, what was done this year.
Okay,
And they were at 4,000, I think, before last year. Did we double it to help with that, or?
right. So I think that's something we should get. Rich, you okay with that, to see if we can get that information?
So you want a budget from the cemetery?
Yeah, or they have a financial statement, I think.
So the hot air fair is asking for additional 1,000,
Correct.
and then the one-time fee for the Miss Hudson for the float repairs,
Well, that's a
what they're
question,
suggesting.
where there's part of that, sorry to interrupt you. I think the trailer itself is our responsibility no matter what, so I would,
It's ours, it's insured by us.
yeah, I mean, if they need tires on it, that's the responsibility of the city to take care of since it's our trailer. I think that would be outside of this budget here. I would, so when I look at that request, I would think that if we're gonna look at that request further, that's one part of it. We need to consider it for ourselves where we're gonna get the money from, but it's something that has to be handled.
Well, I don't think it's in Public Works budget to
Right.
fix that, so
Well,
we'd have to take it out of here
we have to
initially.
figure it out, yeah. No, I understand what you're saying there.
And then I'll ask the question, should we be in the trailer business for, I mean, we provide the trailer, which the insurance is under our,
$2,600 or something like that, or
well, I don't think it's that much.
$2,300, someone said?
But, you know, we
said?
provide the insurance on the trailer.
You know, I think it's a program that's been, I like it. It's been in Hudson. I've worked for it. I've
Yep.
helped reorganize it through the chamber. Kim, I think you could probably talk to that. It's a good thing for the young girls of the community. Those things are dying, I think, slowly. But I don't think we're at the point where we need to fund, or pull the funding
And
and,
that also, you know, also.
Again, I'm not advocating that.
No, we're
I'm-
just
I'm
talking,
saying
like
we're
you
asking,
said.
we gotta ask these questions of every,
As far as like this one-time thing too, that is also, that could be considered out of the prior year balances. that
Sure.
Unexpended. I mean, it wouldn't necessarily have to be in this year's budget. You could, if you were to give them some money for that, it could come out of, well, there's unallocated and there's also past years that hasn't been spent.
well, initially, that's why I had brought that conversation up in approach. That's what I was thinking, not allocating them.
I don't, and you know, I don't have a desire to see anything happen with Miss Hudson lose anything, especially because I do think, I've always said they're an ambassador of the city. They go to various cities and hopefully put on a good face for us. You know, so, I mean, if we're talking about where we think, if we think money should or shouldn't be, I'm gonna pull it out of my hat for the 5th year in a row. I think the FIPS doesn't need to get our $1,000. I say it every year, and every year I get shot down, and I'm gonna say it again. And if there's an organization like Miss Hudson that does need an extra boost, because I believe they usually get one other big donor a year, and that person is not guaranteed for the following year, and not for lack of going out there, because each girl has responsibilities to get their own sponsors to even be in the program. So if I would want to move something, I'd want to remove the FIPS from this and put at least part of that budget into Miss Hudson, if not all of it. And if there's other needs too, whether we split it up or move it up to Miss Hudson. I think they sent us a budget, or did they not?
no, I don't think, I haven't seen it.
Some information.
They sent it, okay.
Is there if you want me to go through the list and who you would like budgets from, so that I can contact them and get that information for you, I'd be happy to do that.
I don't know, what's your preference, Rich?
Well, I think the senior citizens have already given us some
Right.
information, so we have that already. The cemetery is obviously one of them. VFW might be an interesting organization to
That
look
was
at.
added a number of years ago for their honor guard, or whatever they're called. to
For
buy
uniforms.
The uniforms that they wear to the military funerals.
So then what, they'd buy that every year, or?
That I don't know.
Don't know that. That's why we're
So
asking all these
I
questions.
could contact them and ask them what those funds are being
I think
used
it would be
for.
interesting to see.
Yeah,
Again, there isn't a group on here that isn't a good group, okay?
Yeah, they're all good groups, there's no
they're all
question
good groups,
about
but
it.
if we're talking budget, like you said, a $2 million budget, the $1,000 is going for ink? I don't
You know,
know.
I think Al raises a valid question, should we be in the business of supporting nonprofits as a city?
Right.
I think it's an interesting question. And
I would certainly cautious us on that, though, because if that, we get into that, then you could talk about our recreational program as well. And then we're gonna be spending,
But
trying
the
to find.
recreational programs are out of the park district, and it's coming out of taxpayers' dollars, and it's part of the city operations. So it's a city operational budget. It's not a separate organization.
Right.
It's part of the city.
But if the boosters disappeared, then we've got to come up with someone to run a recreational program.
No, we don't.
I don't know why.
Why do
would.
we have the responsibility if they
Who else
disappear?
does the boosters?
Volunteers from the cities, from how I understand the boosters run. We
No,
don't-
no, no, if the boost, if for some reason it went away.
I think the boosters run the recreational program.
Right, but
Right.
what I'm saying is if they disappeared for
run
one
it.
reason or the other, we're left with it, trying to figure out how to do a youth
No,
program.
no,
Why
I
would
don't
we be
feel that
left
way
with
at
it?
all.
Okay,
I don't
that's
understand
fine, that's,
The city has never done it. That's why the boosters exist, I think, is because the city never took the response. There's a lot of communities, they have the
That's like saying-
recreational program.
Right,
The
like
city
summer
runs it.
rec, I mean,
Yep.
you know,
I
we
don't
don't do
see-
that, we don't have
I
it.
don't
and-
see it's inherently our responsibility
Oh.
as a city organization, a city government.
can I follow up on?
Sure.
The paper had an article in the last paper about these flower baskets and the dire need for funding. Am I missing something for the Christmas decorations here? Is that coming out of this fund?
I think every year there's a different
Vendor.
amount that comes floating out. I think it is different. Flower baskets are the
Summer ones.
summer ones.
So is it part of the holiday lighting and we just don't have the money? We haven't given the money?
Oh, I think we've given money for that.
Yeah, I think what happened was when our previous vendor passed away, we kind of we're trying to figure out, but
She's been still doing it.
we've always taken care of it, yeah.
So why are they looking for more money? Cost to go up or?
I don't see a request.
It's a question I'm asking. I don't know, maybe the paper could answer it.
I don't even remember reading it, so I can't.
No, there was an article in the paper that they were looking for donations because whatever funding the city had provided in the past wouldn't cover the full cost of whatever they wanted to do this year. That was my understanding of what it said.
So there's something we could probably look at a budget.
Or we can,
Well, what do you think about the concert series? You want to increase the budget? I think we had a request from Deb to say we'd sure like to put some more money into that.
I would like to, I think it benefits the whole community, and then some.
It's a very nice program. We have very good entertainment. It's free. Folks can go down and sit in the park. It's a very, very much a good family or entertainment. The banners. Go ahead. Do you-
What will the added funds be used to expand that program?
Yeah,
or is that what it's-
and get some more, I think we struggle to try and find enough to pay for the folks that come down there.
Yeah, because sometimes we gotta pay. We don't pay for all.
We don't pay for all of them,
But
no.
some of them we do. We pay for them to come.
I'm looking at the holiday lighting, I'm wondering if some of the money from there didn't go towards those
I think it
decorations.
did.
Actually, I think it's the banner money that
Banner
wasn't
money.
spent. We didn't do any banner replacement, and I think
Right.
that was reallocated in 2013,
For
the holiday.
Okay.
Okay. You guys want to get the budgets and then we'll bring it back?
Yeah.
Do you want something from Hot Air Fair too? Have they approved?
Sure.
I want from from any of them that we are talking about, Octagon House, Cemetery. I understand that Jerry's spoken, but we've had plenty of emails coming from Ms. Hudson too, but I still think we should see budgets.
Okay.
You know.
VFW, I'll just find out what they use the money for, because we don't need to see their whole budget.
Right.
Okay.
And then Ms. Hudson,
And then Hot Air Fair.
I'd like to know what the FIPS uses. Well, they give us a letter every year saying what they use it for, but.
Okay. All right. I will see what I can find and.
Okay, anything else?
Yeah, can we strike out this grant program permanently?
Sure, if you want.
Does anyone have a problem with that?
Oh, so now, yeah, I tried
No,
to do that.
I tried to do it with you last year. We both got shot down. We don't, if we're gonna, I don't think it was Rich who shot us down.
I don't remember it being.
I don't
It
either.
was
It's
Lori.
easier to point at Rich.
It was
I'm the
Lori's.
only one on this side of the table.
Oh, Rich and I are getting along right now. Let's just leave it.
Give it a couple minutes.
I think it was Lori who wanted to try and keep it just in case we needed it, but I think people are catching on. They're sending us emails when they'd like funding. So I don't know if we need a grant program that,
Well-
it's not hurting us sitting here, but it's not,
And I want I want you guys to decide if you want to do this or not. Whether do we really want to be in this business or not? We have so many of our own projects that we can utilize the funds for tourism related, and it doesn't have to be tourism related. We're spending 70% of the dollars on, at this point, on promoting the city and the area. So we already are doing our job on that, and I think the chamber's doing an excellent job of that. So, can we use it for our parking lot, our new parking lots, and some of the stuff we'd like to see, some signage and some other things that we want to complete?
Quick question, because we have kind of a quick turnaround, and we've got Thanksgiving next week, which is a short week. Would you prefer I wait until I get everything before putting it
Yes.
potentially could be at the 15th instead of the 1st?
That'd be fine.
As long as we have enough time, yeah.
Yeah, okay. That way.
Is that okay with
getting
everyone?
part of the information, then having to, okay. If I get it all back, I'll get it to you.
I mean, I guess I have an unanswered question. Can we strike the grant program? Do I need to make a motion to strike the grant
Sure, if
program?
you would.
I would like to make a motion to strike the grant program from
Okay,
the future budget.
is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, discussion on it. When you say that the grant program was, any new ones coming on, or does it mean the ones that are there are in, the ones that want to come in?
There's nothing there
bottom.
because we moved the FIPS
Right.
and hot airfare
Okay,
up. So since there's nothing there, I think if
I have no
we
problem with
moved
that.
them up because it was, you know,
Okay,
so.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We have 3 other requests on the back of your, if you go to your next page. Excuse me. Mr. Zuli, flower baskets, tree purchases, dike road pavers in the arc, mural painting on the band shell. Those are all kind of requests or possible use of those funds. Marty, Chief Jensen, camera system in the parks. We've received, I don't know if we've received it yet from Rotary, a $5,000 grant. We have received it, and that should be going in, or if is it in already, Marty?
No, we haven't had a chance to sit down with Tom.
Okay. But we had three other requests from the chief, fire chief, and I think those would not be coming out of room tax dollars, but would come out of budget dollars. I don't think it's appropriate for room tax dollars. I don't know what the rest of you think.
No, up from the fire chief or from all of this?
From the fire chief,
No. it's
for
not.
permanent funding for their operating. Because I think one of it is for taking over some of the requests and fire inspection, and then a new location up in the industrial park. I think those are good things that we need to talk about. All right?
Okay.
We have the request from the hot air affair, or from, not the hot air affair, from the Miss Hudson, and then you also have the room tax grant from Pam Brokaw for the holiday boutique. Ready to move on?
Yeah.
Okay, discussion, possible action on snow plowing of city-owned parking lots. Mr. Zuli.
Public Works Committee discussed plowing of the city-owned parking lots at the September 8th meeting. The recommendation from that meeting was to advertise for proposals to private company, for a private company to plow the city-owned parking lots. Bid documents were prepared in-house and reviewed by the city attorney for posting. The terms for the 3-year contract and requirements for city-owned parking lots of snowfalls of half-inch or more, 2 weeks of advertising, and it was posted on the city website and in the local Hudson paper. One bid was received from Complete Lawn Care for $2,970 per month for the 2014-15 season, 2015-16 season, 2016 and 2017 season. The times for plowing would be December 1st to March 31st. Funding source was recommended that we look into the parking utility fund. I have spoken with the owner of Complete Lawn Care. We've reviewed the requirements and the equipment that he has. He feels comfortable for what he's bid and looking for a recommendation.
So, Tom, is that taking all the snow out also and disposing of it?
That is not for snow removal, it's just for plowing of the snow.
Okay, so we'll push it in the corner, then it'll be our responsibility to move it?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
That's sidewalks too. Excuse me, the sidewalks
Not
around the
include
parking lots?
sidewalks, No, we took that out.
We did take that out.
Huh?
We took it out?
We didn't include that in the bid, it was, we're gonna use summer, our part-time staff to do sidewalks.
How many lots?
Lots include, library, police department lot, the beach house lot, the north parking lot, which is, Wells Fargo parking lot, the Phipps lot, which is the one by, Pier 500, City Hall lot, the Harbor lot, which goes from Second Street up to the, fire hall, Williams lot, which is the fire lot, and this includes the ramps for the EMS and the fire station, the rear and front ramps for the fire station.
Nice.
looks like a pretty good deal.
I'm very happy with it.
This will free up, how much time for your guys to be on the plows in the street?
We calculated that for an average, or a snowfall of 1 to 3 inches takes about 6 hours. We add another hour or so on to, if we get like for 7, 8 to 12, we figure about 8 hours. If we get more than 12 inches, it exceeds 10 hours. I
Just
think
in the parking lots.
Last big snowfall we had last spring, we were plowing snow in the parking lots, 2 front-end loaders for over close to 5 to 6 hours.
And we could use those on the cul-de-sacs instead,
We
right?
have nearly 70 cul-de-sacs in the city, and that's the primary equipment that we use for plowing of the cul-de-sacs. So it's going to really benefit getting our cul-de-sacs and getting our equipment up to those areas.
So Tom, is this for each snow event at this fixed rate each year? Or every time they drop the blade, are we in charge more?
No, this is fixed.
A flat rate, and it's locked in for 3 years, and it's any snowfall that's over a half inch.
So it's 12,000 a year whether we get no snow or whether we get 100 inches.
We already had it paid off by now.
No, here would be good use of room tax dollars. What do you do with room tax dollars? You want people to come to your city, and in order to come to the city when you got snow, you gotta remove it. And it makes sense to me, this would be a perfect use of room tax dollars.
We'd be happy with that, wouldn't we, Tom? If we,
Again,
I'm just saying, you think about what.
I don't disagree with you.
This would make sense.
how much is in the parking utility now, right now? Have we paid all the bills from the parking? We haven't
We
paid
have
them.
not paid all the bills from the parking. If you just give me 1 second.
Sure. I mean, it's getting, we use a lot of money for those 46 parking spots.
67.
Well, yep,
That's a big difference.
yep.
We have not paid everything, but it'll drain it down probably to the $100,000 range.
So if we want to do some parking things and some other things, we've got to replenish that, so.
Well, and this comes out of the parking utility budget is the
Correct.
parking lot, so,
Yep,
And it's
I
something
mean-
you could do for this winter, and then you could,
yep.
make a decision on, or you could tentatively take it out of here, and then if you decide to do something
Yep.
else.
Is there a motion to approve this?
I'm so moving to approve this.
Is there a second? Yep.
But
Any discussions?
Where's the funding coming out of?
Parking fund.
Parking
like
fund.
it Always does.
I think one thing I'd like to note, though, is that the budget that's going to be to council at the next meeting does not provide funds for this, so what we should probably do is increase that appropriation for the parking by, the,
$300,
Yeah.
$3,000 for 5 months?
well, then you have the other months, so $12,000.
Okay, good point. Any other comments? Or Andy, you had anything else?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any other items you'd like to see on future agenda items? If not, look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.